it's hip hop and R&B on 103.5 The Beat, Papa Keith live. But listen, with this special guest that I have, and I'll make no mistakes, when a lot of reggae artists, which y'all guys know I support to the fullest, I always give them flowers, I always give them their props. But make no mistake, this artist right here, this brother right here, is my favorite of all time. All time. And I'm on the record saying this, man. It's a pleasure to have him here and to have an in-depth discussion about his contributions over the last 30 years to music. And I don't want to even just genretize it and say what type of music, because his music is just for everybody. Ladies and gentlemen, I have the most amazing Sizzla Kalonji in the building.
Rastafari, big respect.
Every time, King. Every time. I gotta let you know. I don't know if I ever got a chance to let you know this. I mean, obviously we've known each other over the years, and you've supported events that I've done over the years in the beginning stages of my career, which always meant something to me. But from your first album, I remember from Fire Burning, and it was just something different about you. There was just something special about you that I think that the world and music needed. Can we go all the way back to the beginning?
Sure, no problem.
And talk about how you got started, let's say over 30 years ago.
Well, I got started in my dad's garage.
Gotcha.
Yeah, as a youth growing up in Augustown, 40 Augustown Road, Kingston 7. Mr. Roman Henry was the person, the owner for that property, and he was respectfully the secretary for Sir Alexander Bedwood and the Bedwoodites, and we know that the Bedwoodites, they're Maroons. Yes. From Pumpkin Hill, Augustown. In and around writing songs, going to school, having my little book being folded in my back pocket, writing songs, having a little chis, packing up stuff, but no one knows that I could really sing or DJ or rap or the likes. Until one day a friend of mine, Howard Brown, Spoon said, Dada, we have a stage show up the road and we need artists. Clap them because them come from far. That's just a little tagline, whenever time you're doing something, whether you do good or not. Right. They said, Dada, we need someone to DJ. I said, I'm not going to DJ. They don't know that I can sing. They said, all right, let's go. I said, all right, we decided on going. So I went up by Bryce Hill, by that plaza, and we did well. And from there, took off, still going to school, all my little stuff, through Augustown Primary, New Providence Primary, Seaward College, Gainshead High School, until I ended up at Dunoon Park Technical High School because I grew up in a garage. So my dad was like, I needed to get technical about stuff, you need to go to a technical school because you already know about the mechanic and the heart of body work. I said, okay, no problem. Get a pass to Dunoon. While attending Dunoon, I got a good friend of mine, Larry Bell Nevis. I said, all right, Larry was like, youth growing up, rough and wild. Mm-hmm. So we said, all right, Dad, so we have a brethren named Caveman. He used to call me Dad at that time, Miguel. I said, Caveman, all right, let's go. So we used to go by Larry's house after school and do homework, link up with families. And, Larry had a good family right there, loving families. Nannyville people are real nice people, So we started going by Caveman studio. And every day we up by Caveman studio. And Caveman would just put on any rhythm and say, sing. And I would killing it. Right. Until Ninja Kid one day came and said, Dada, little look for you. Ninja Kid brought me to Arrows. I started doing dub plates now. So if Bounty Killer had 4 songs, one of those songs would have to be Sizzla's song. Because Litta would make sure. So big respect, Litta. And all the engineers from Arrows from them time, the Ninja Kid and the whole works, So till one day, Caveman said, so me get an office at 2B Grove Road with Mr. Harris. We are going to check it out. So we moved from out the community. And we enter our next community, which is Grove Road, 2B Grove Road, down that side, half a tree. Started doing stuff. Mr. Harris was there with us every day, a well-respectable person. Mr. Harris said, you love bonfire every day you come here bonfire. We are going to call you Sizzla. And I said, you can't give me no name. You can't call me that. What you take me for? I said, well, it fits. You burn fire every day and your name is not in the dictionary. I said, really? All right. Let's go. Something new, nostalgic. I said, all right. We started doing all those stuff. Every day we had Caveman singing, so whenever time we in the studio, 15, 20 away, you just want to put on the rhythm, I'll do the intro, someone else do the chorus, and next DJ would come in and do the verse. And we're there rubbing shoulders with great artists, Panhead, and a lot of them, I got the chance to be like rehearsing with the 809 bands before the big artists them trading like Pinchers and Barry Salmon and those persons, 809 band, Mr. Dean Fraser and Paul Castick had started me in the drum thing. I learned drum from Paul Castick coming up, and Sly and Robbie them, So I said, all right, get in the groove till one day, Mr. Fraser said, hey, Sizzla, Fatis I look for you. I said, what? Because Fatis was a real serious and strict person. Yeah, don't play around. So we said, all right, we're going there. So Mr. Fraser took me to Fatis Burrell. And from there and then, I started, doing my work. My local brethren them from Grove Road, they would like come around to the studio, 7 Windsor Avenue, Gussie Clark studio, Music Works. And I started working right there. Now, Fatis is a man, every day he might make rhythm. Every day in life he might make rhythm. In and out the studio, musicians in. And you have the likes like Garnet Silk, Lucian, Barry Salmon, Master Griffiths, Aine Kamoze, Dennis Brown, Ninja Man, Leroy Smart, them great artists passing through. I said, wow, we're rub shoulder with big artists now. But anyway, get your work done. Because to me it was like still doing schoolwork. Get your homework done. And at that time, my homework was to get my lyrics on one of those rhythms. So I said, all right, let's go. Started doing stuff. Fatis was a good friend of Dr. Dre. So I started recording until they compile an album, and they call it Burning Up. And there and then, that was my first album. And it took off.
Yes, it did. It did, and that's how I got to learn about Sizzla. Your greatest... I call it the greatest album of all time. And, with respect to Bob Marley, he's a legend and we love Bob. But in my opinion, in my era, the greatest album ever to come out of Jamaica, The Real Thing.
The Real Thing.
Can you please explain to us how the genius of that album...
No, while at Grove Road, it was sort of difficult to get on the music scene. Not that you can't get on it, but they're looking for stars. It's a business. So we used to be up and down. Panid took us to a lot of studio. Me and the Caveman crew, we've been there up and down every evening from Grove Road. We walk to Alpha Tree. And we've been working, having the link with Fatis. Sabatut, we used to go walk up and down and try get through to other producers, but it wasn't working out like that. Until one day, Louis Culture came in the studio and said, so where I bring you go around Bobby. I'm going to tell Bobby Digital about you, because I used to be up and down, with Louis Culture. Louis Culture would just leave that little red starlet with us and we up and down as young artists. Anyway, we went to Bobby Digital. It's not my first time going to Bobby Digital, but this time Louis Culture brought me into Bobby Digital and Bobby see the youth, bad DJ, and we did with Calibuds. But Bobby wasn't really in the studio. It was just me and Calibuds all the time. It's after getting the works done, then we see Bobby. So the credit goes to Calibuds. Really.
Wow.
Yeah, it was just me and Calibuds in the studio. And Gangali would be outside, waiting on us. So we just started working on the same formula from Grove Road, from Exterminator, Music Works. I just apply the same formula to the same studio now, Digital B, and I just started working. That's just about it. But it was just, in our sense, a consciousness that it doesn't matter if you do a girl song or a gangster song. The thing with Jamaica, you'll have to produce a conscious song.
Yes.
Because it's a conscious country, Rastafari country. So we started working and Bobby started mixing the album. But we didn't have any name for the album. So Bobby was like, what we going to call the album? So I tell Bobby, say the album name, Thank You Mama. Call it Thank You Mama.
Based off of the hit.
And then Bobby say, yeah, nice. But I want to give it a different name where it's not any of the songs on the album until it was there. And Bobby called the album Real Thing. And Bobby said, no, this is the Real Thing. And Bobby called the album The Real Thing. And then, he got the link with Christian and then it took off.
Wow. And boy, did it take off.
Yeah.
I mean, like I said, and I'm not taking that back, the greatest album to come out of Jamaica. And of course, you had songs and you had hits before that album, but just the culmination of those songs in particular, where you could actually listen to an album and every single song was a hit, like in its own.
Yes, because coming up the line, I become more experienced, in singing every day, practicing, going to the stage shows, lifting speaker boxes, and the everyday complaints from the artists, what's happening, what's not happening for them, who had stolen their publishing and all those stuff, and we listen to the complaints and how they would apply lyrics to the situation. So I becomes well-rounded in the studio. I could manage myself around the studio now. So that's just about it. And we have Louis culture there, and we grew up in a community, educated persons around us, a lot of schools and all those stuff. So we got intelligence from our parents and the community and all, so we applied.
When did you get introduced to Rastafari as teaching?
Well, naturally, Augustown is a Rastafari
Yeah, it is.
community
Yes.
there and then, because you got Jedites across. You used to have the Jalov, playing over there. That side, you have the 12 tribes of Israel, and Bob Marley was well familiar with those set of Rastafari families, because Bob Marley used to be in the community of Augustown every day. They just don't tell you these things. I can remember, like, my dad would put me on his shoulder and would go up by the student union to watch Bob Marley.
Wow.
And my dad said, "Don't remember those times." I was a kid that time, and said, "Well, we used to do that." And I'm trying to grasp that, but I can remember like Ballsy from Silver Arc. I could
Yes.
remember like when Ballsy used to, my dad would go through the mess fence and Ballsy and would put me over the fence, and then my dad collect me, and then I say, all right, I can remember that part,
Right.
Young kid, but that's it, grew up with Rastafari parent in the community. My father used to play guitar every night, every day with a brethren named Lightning. The next Rastaman, a pay Lightning him called down. Lightning, anything bad you do. So it was a very beautiful community being cultured by the Rastafari families and others also, you know what I mean? So it's like a balance. You got the Christian churches in the community and you got the Rastafari families in the community. You know what I mean?
Yes.
Multicultural. So that's it. Grew up in the community with Rastafari parents. But it took form when I started going to Caveman and by Mr. Harris, because I would leave school, my necktie, my Dunwood crest, diligent for persistence for excellence. I would be around there. I didn't start growing my locks until I left high school about 94. As I graduated from school, I just started growing my locks.
Yeah.
So it was with Bobby Digital Vibe and Fatis Vibes, and Cockatee was there also, and Aineka Mosey. And then
Rest
one
in
day I
peace,
read
Coco, yes.
Rastaman. And then I started finding myself, started doing a lot of reading. You know what I mean? And I started finding out that, all the psalms were being written by the king, King David. So every day you're saying the king's psalms in the churches and all over. And I said, okay. So I become more conscious now. And now Solomon say, I'm black, O ye daughters of Jerusalem, and my feast as a color of brass. And I say, yeah, it's Rastafari. And then I check back the lineage now, King Selassie, and see the lineage of David. And he's Rastafari, and Leonard Howell. And with the Marcus Garvey consciousness again, and Prince Emmanuel right there, it was just superb. So I just maintain the culture because that's mine. I can't run from it.
Yeah. I agree. And it's you who taught me and showed me that it's in your heart.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? It's in your heart, and I've always appreciated that, because sometimes you feel like if you don't have the locks, it's like...
Yeah, Rastafari is not only in the heart.
Right.
Rastafari is bloodline. And
Yes.
Genealogy. Bloodline.
Yes.
Yes.
Yes, and I remember even sometimes I would call to talk to you, and sometimes you'd be doing your prayers, and you would actually go away and do the teachings, and like, I just want people to understand how devout and how serious, even as a top artist, you would
Yes.
take time to go and do your lessons and stuff, being a huge artist.
Well, despite, we say Rastafari, there was a lot of complaints from elders where I can remember Mr. Daniel, Bongo Daniel from the Bingi Center say, Sizzla, I can't say that a lot of them, they aren't Rasta, but I can say they are not churchical Rasta. And I said, what you meant by that? He said, well, they grow the locks, they have the precepts, but they're not chanting. They don't know how to play the drum, the Naya Bingi bass from the Kete. They don't know how to rise a service, no disrespect. They're not visiting the temple like Bobo Hill and Naya Bingi Pitford or Pinnacle or Scott Sparse, I say, and there and then now, we have Bobo Shanti. When you see the Bobo just like with the broom, you got Josie Wales singing those songs. I say, I need to go visit Bobo Shanti. When we went up by Bobo Shanti now, we see the priest in his robe and turban. So the same thing we learned at the Naya Bingi, but the difference, they got robes here, and every day they write entering and write going out. And I say, okay, and the teacher that this is the international creed, this is the Ethiopia anthem. You say this in the start, this follows. And I said, it's a protocol. It's just same. Yeah, this is what we've been looking for.
Right.
So after getting all these big number one songs, I just becomes missing like the 13 years of the Messiah. Can't find me up a Bobo Hill, down a Bingi ground, 12 tribe. We just be servicing the Rastafari temples. I used to be with Jalij, like every day in Spanish Town, in the tabernacle in Spanish Town. Every day.
Yes.
So there and then I learned the Psalms, I learned to rise the prayer, the anthem, like Psalms 20 when they rise in the banner and all those stuff. And I'm like, yeah, this is protocol. This is what the nation needs to know. So a lot of persons, they got the locks, the precepts, they're doing well, but they're not like visiting the old temple. And that's what's missing. And that's why you have a stage in the Rastafari movement where it's like, dormant a bit because I would say like persons making money as Rastafari persons were not visiting these temples, and these are the places where the elders, they're there every day praying and they're chanting, but they doesn't have a 9-to-5 job. They're not making that money where they can furnish the old tabernacle. So I took it upon myself to bear that responsibility to do that, and that is how I ended up making money out the music. When I get stage shows from the people in New York, Miami, England, wherever, I just take some of my money, build tabernacle, help the elders try to fulfill the creed: hungry be fed, naked be clothed, sick be nourished, age protected, infants be cared for. So I could very well say, well, I'm just like free now.
Yeah.
I mean, because I've been doing that all over the years, not just by myself, but I got other persons, other good brethren of mine where help to assist the elders same way.
You do a lot for the community, a lot for the kids in the community, and I've seen that over the years consistently, and that's always been my issue with anybody, whether it's athletes, artists, whatever. When you do for people, and you just do for the moment, it don't really serve them. But your consistency in doing for your community and doing for your people, it's something that should be recognized.
Exactly.
Definitely. Let's talk about your style, because one of the things that really makes you my favorite is that you touch so many different styles. It's almost like how you would look at a kung fu flick. You know what I'm saying? Tiger style, snake style. I look at you the same way as like your voice. You can give them low, you can go high. Give me a try, and then you could, Rastaman is taking over, and we have nothing to. I mean, just the different styles that you have of music and topics that you have. I think it's probably the most broad that I've ever heard in Jamaican culture.
Well, naturally, you're an entertainer. You're here to entertain the people in the sense of not just because you're an entertainer and they're going to give them anything and everything. But then again, you got to be multifaceted because, like I say, I grew up in the culture and I grew up around great stars, and these persons are the professionals. You know what I'm saying? When you have the likes like Martha Griffiths, you have like Carly Davis, Judy Mowat, you have Nikki Tucker, Junior Tucker, them, you have the Cocotees, and then you have like Conradine Campbell, you have Altia, all these girls doing harmonies, and every day they're in the studio with Fatties, working with Lucian, and all these girls singing with Lucian and doing new Luciana's harmonies. So I learned how to change my vocals. I learned how to approach different styles and add different pitch towards the thing. So I learned from the girls. And when Mr. Freezes, I would get crazy, like, you're not holding the right note. This is where it's at. So while he's there teaching them, we're learning also, because when you get back in the studio, you can't be like off key.
Right.
That was a big problem. When you're not on the beat, you don't know how to ride the rhythm within the whole space of the music, the bars, and then again you got to be on point. So I learned all these stuff from these beautiful ladies and these great musicians and artists, and every day you like Robbie Sly and Robbie. So when Fat is here making music, Robbie Lynn over the next studio, you have Bob Larone at the next studio work. And, that's just about it. So I'm like in all the studios. So I pick up all these
all
things,
the different things
as I go along.
Well, you've served them well.
Yeah.
You've served them well. We're happy. We know that dancehall is not going to die, but we have seen dancehall take a shift. And I have to talk about a viral moment that I saw, and I applauded actually, where you were at an event and you bought up a DJ for playing certain songs, right? And you were saying, listen, talk about the woman, talk about the gun thing, we get it. But there needs to be a line that needs to be drawn in terms of what we are spewing out and telling our mothers and kids and daughters. Can you speak on that? Because I feel like, that was such a grandiose moment, and I feel like I have my own moments like that but it feels like it's falling on deaf ears because this is the generation and they're kind of like setting their own pathway.
Yeah.
Can you speak to that?
Well, I would say like these people in Jamaica, we're maroon, so I would say maroon kingdoms, but for the sake of the corporation, I would say these people in Jamaica, the Jamaicans, they're beautiful people, but you can only do as much. And despite your bedroom is your own private personal space, we have nothing to do with that, but things coming out of your bedroom is not going to always be accepted because you're an adult. You're doing adulterous stuff. So in Jamaica, whenever time you move, like I would say, like funny, or you want to get down on a woman, that's not really accepted, despite persons might like that, but that's not really accepted. And once you be doing those stuff, is like you're being separated and apart from the natural public and the family. We don't like those stuff. We don't deal with sodomy and corruption and all those stuff. So growing up in a community that's really like serious about these things, persons, we read the Bible every day, we say the Psalms every day, we be quoting the Psalms and quoting words and speeches from our great leaders. We can't be coming in the public now and saying that. It's like contradictory, you know what I mean?
Right, like if you're endorsing.
And I'm a public figure, and I personally, I don't support those stuff. So hearing a selector doing that now, and I'm like in the venue, and persons bearing more age than me will be like, Sizzla, that's wrong. We can't be doing that. You know what I mean? Despite we ain't got no kids here, it's going to be going public. I'm like, yo, you got to stop doing that now, We can't be doing that. It's not accepted. You know what I mean? Despite you can do your own stuff in your bedroom, that's you. But publicly, we don't do those stuff. It's not accepted. We bash against those stuff.
Well, I was just impressed at the fact that you chose to take a stand on that level.
Exactly.
And because now it just seems like everybody is just being more accepted towards certain things versus having their strong opinions the same way how other people have strong opinions about us. You know what I mean? So I just wanted to highlight that because that video went viral. I'm sure, as you know.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? As we're on that topic with stage show, your performances, oh my gosh. I mean, like no other. I would probably say between you and, and give respect to Capleton and certain other artists, man, just the energy that you bring on stage when it comes to, your music and how you interact with the crowd. Can you speak on that?
I had also to do that because I came up in the music in the 90s. And in those times, when you're messing around on the stage, people would pelt bottles at you. So Sizzla got to make sure when you jump out, you're just fit and ready and just get to the point. We can't be dragging our feet.
Yes.
Person spent a lot of monies, shoes, clothes, car wash, the ladies getting their hair done and their nails done and all those stuff. And it's like we come to the stage show just to see the musicians and the artists being like lackadaisical towards the profession. We're not going to do that. They're going to throw stuff at you. So my era was the Magnum buckles, Shandy buckle, anything them catch a ground, you're just going to get it, let them have it because that's nice. So I'm like, I understood the people very well. Jamaica is one of the only country in the world that throws stuff at you just for you to be the best of yourself and give them good music.
Yes.
So I'm like, this is what I need. A well-receptive audience. It's not like they're throwing stuff and it's something it's become a part of the culture. They have to stop doing that where the government ban all those bottles you have to use, like, paper cups now.
Right.
But, you know what I mean? This is what I really need. Someone who is paying attention to the artist.
Yeah.
When you get out, start working. So that's just the whole energy for me there. And I think that's what boosted me from that time till now. You got to get out and give the people what they need. Serve the public. So from there and then, I just be hitting it once I get on the stage. Bang, 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 and get it done. You know what I mean? And give them that energy. So that's just my formula in approach. And not just to be working presently on the stage in front of the audience, I'm also working that the medias could have contents, the Gleaner, the Stars, just about, you know what I mean? Any government media, anything giving the outlet of the music and information to the people. That's what I work for. So that's just me.
And you've served us well, brother.
Yes.
Let's talk about 30 years, right? So you're having a big celebration in Jamaica that I have to be at for sure. Let's talk about this big celebration that you're having, celebrating 30 years of excellence, black excellence.
Exactly, because I represent the people, I represent the Caribbean and a whole, Greater Lesser Antilles, Africa at large, and this is 30 years. And I've seen where in which my music I've influenced a lot of persons, and this is 3 decades now, and I can remember now one of the great kings for the reggae music was Bob Marley, Reverend Mr. Marley, the Honorable Mr. Marley, and he passed away when he was like 36, and I'm like, yo, I'm doing 30 years in the biz. No, this is very serious. 3 decades, we need to do something about it. So, some beautiful ladies got together and they said, let us do the 30. They did a little launch somewhere up here and said they're going to do it in Sabina. I didn't know nothing about this. They just came together and they got it done. So I said, all right, I'll do it because it's for the people. Somewhere, at this time in life where they can just come and celebrate. And it's not just 30 years of Sizzla. It's 30 years being taught, having the experience from foundation legends before myself in the music, being presented to you this day, and not just to celebrate 30 years of Sizzla, but to celebrate the music on a whole and persons supporting the music, the reggae music fans, even before my birth. You know what I mean? So it's just good that we're having all these things going, and it's good to support a great cause.
Oh, absolutely. And I'll be in Jamaica Heroes Weekend. I'll let y'all know that. We're going to
October
interview
19th.
Yeah.
Yes, Sabina Park.
Exactly. So I'll interview the promoters at a different time to get even more in depth with that, with that show. But it's going to be epic. At a time right now where a lot of the artists who've made such an impact here in America, specifically with reggae and dancehall music, now get their visas back and everybody's back moving around, and particularly with Vibes Cartel also, getting back his freedom and doing some incredible things, in terms of selling out 2 nights in Brooklyn and all these different things. I think this is an ideal time for us. And
Exactly.
when I say us, right, I mean everybody who has contributed, like yourself, myself, who's invested in dancehall, in reggae. We have to really take stock at this moment and figure out what are we going to do and how are we going to manage this moment. What would you like to see come out of all of this?
Growth towards the business, more available platforms for young, talented, upcoming artists to showcase their talent. And same as how the fans would come out in droves, mass, that's how we as the artists need to unite and get out there. The biggest thing that's really holding us back is that we don't know how to play instruments. We're not tracking with our publishing, making sure we're getting the credits. And whenever time we're doing the music and we're giving credits, we tend to step away from giving other persons their credits in the music because they might not be the artists, but they give you a little line. They help to do something, give them the credit. And the next thing is that we don't like reading. We're not doing a lot of reading, so we don't know how to express ourselves. And we're not doing stuff on our own. We need to start keeping our own shows as artists, where it's more compatible to the people. No disrespect to the promoters, but sometimes fans say the promoters, they didn't write a song, they didn't play a note, but they done a lot of shows. Yeah, respect, but we need to do that for the people because the people is all about the artists.
Yes.
So that's just great. So that's a few other stuff. And what we need to do, again, we need to have a lot more programs. We need to do a lot more civic duty. We need to be in the communities, doing a lot of community servicing, doing the chores for the people. We're not giving back to our communities. And the government on a whole, we're having a problem with them because whenever time the kids get out the universities, because the kids listen to the artists. They would listen to the parents, but whenever time they're in school, they're with the teachers for 90% of their life during school, and they're into the media. They listen to the artists more. So we as artists, we need to pay more attention to all those stuff. We need to do a lot more charity shows. We need to visit schools, you know what I mean, and give some sort of motivational speech to inspire kids, because they're listening to our songs every day, but we're not there to help and guide them like the teachers or the parents. You know what I mean? And we need to have more love and unity and respect for ourselves as artists.
Yes.
We need to respect our selectors. Yeah, because while you're sleeping, the selectors are there playing your songs on the radio stations, on the sound systems. We need to respect our musicians more also, because it's not a one-man band. Even if you're doing tracks, you still got a selector playing for you. So we need to pay more respect for all those things. We need to put back in the music. You know what I mean? We need to build more studios. We need to have radio stations. We need to do some stuff. Because the music goes with the food, and it goes with the cars, and it goes with the fashion. You know what I mean? Once you say music, all those person having that stuff about fashion, ubiquitous fashion, they're all over the place, they're going to end up in the music. So we need to do a lot more. We need to be strong and be inventors. We need to innovate and think out of the box now. Burst that bubble, get to the people, and just do what's best for the people. You know what I mean? We need to do more interviews. You know, as artists, we're not doing enough interviews, we're not doing enough press conferences and all those stuff, and that's what's really lacking, you know what I mean? And some of us, we tend to go around and like search for young talents, and whenever time we hear what they're saying, we copy that and we do it for ourselves, and we cheat other young talented artists coming up in the business. And sometimes a lot of persons go crazy for that, because they're like, yo, Dada, I did this song and I sung it for that person, and now I'm hearing my song on the radio and I'm not getting nothing. You know, sometimes it's really
intellectual
hurting.
property, yeah.
Right. So we need to know about our intellectual properties also, you know what I mean? And we need to set up our own business. As artists, we're not building our own studios. We're not coming out with our own record labels. So that's what's happening today now. The youths of today, based upon the new technology and the new system, they started their own little studio around the corner in their bedrooms. I told them years ago to do all these stuff. I'm the first person started vicing on Pro Tools. Gussie Clark gave me the first Pro Tools studio. I'm the first person to put Pro Tools on a laptop in Trinidad by Vishal Singh and started recording on laptop, in the cars, in my hotel rooms. I would like, you pay $3,000 an hour in the studio, and now I'm in a beautiful hotel, and my room is like $500. No, we're going to turn it into a studio. Close the door, pull the curtain, take out the laptop, and I'm going to do 5 songs in this room. And it becomes like the norm for me. So anywhere I go, I'll be singing. In the plane, in the hotel rooms, in the cars, in the garage. I went to my friend's place. I said, close this door. We're going to record. But that's just fun for me. In doing a show, after doing the show, I like to record a song. That gives me the memory of the time. So every time I hear this song, I can remember.
It's a timestamp.
Right.
Yeah. Listen,
so that's
man,
it.
On behalf of all of your fans, we want to thank you for an amazing 30 years, and we're looking forward to 30 plus more, as much as you can give us, because we know you have the stamina and the talent. We want to thank you so much for teaching a lot of us through your music, inspiring.
It's an absolute
when you
pleasure.
think about songs to this day, like even me as a selector, and when you're pulling people through their issues, and you play a song like to a woman, yes, you got to be strong.
And be all the best you can. The world is out there, conquer your fear. Yeah.
And don't you wait.
Yeah, we're Jafferi Nation. We pray every day, you know what I mean?
You know, my one of my personal favorites, them I wonder.
How we do this, grow with it and anger. Fetch your profit spotters, relax, I get longer. Yeah, man.
Man, listen, these are songs and teachings at the same time, man, that you have pulled myself and so many of us through, and so many of fans don't get to, I mean, we have social media now, so I'm sure some of them I tell you, but
right, and that is why I give credit to the Jamaica 5K run, because like the CG and the mayor and
he's a good guy.
Staff surrounding the mayor, they all grew up with Sizzla. And they're like, Sizzla, you got to be here now and do the 5K run. And moreover, now it was for the clinics. They're giving back to the clinics in Jamaica. And I know they can go beyond just Jamaica. They can go to the whole entire world. And that's what I like. As I remember now, when I did this 5K run, it wasn't just only to give back to the clinics. I've been through operations in the hospital. So while doing the 5K run, I'm still checking up on myself to make sure, say, yo, it's been years now. You did operation by the University Hospital of the West Indies. Let me see how your lungs going. You smoke too much. Test out the lungs. Your ankle got hurt the other day. Test out the foot. You know? You did an operation, some surgery, test it out. I'm like, yo, you know, I'm doing it. And then I was like doing the 5K, and then I saw 2 little babies run past me. I'm like, wait, what am I doing? Catch up to it. And I kept going, you know, it was really love. So the 5K, Jamaica 5K run, I want to say thank you very much on all that, you know what I mean, because that's just about it, you know what I mean. I want to say the organizers and the philanthropic sponsors, I want to say thank you very much. You've provided a platform where we can unite and best reach out, you know, and it's not just a 5K like that, it's a family togetherness.
So many people are happy to see you and wave high.
You know?
That's what's up. Well, listen,
nice.
man, I'm trying to thank you, and you still finding a way to big up the people, man. That just goes,
stop bigging up the people.
Yeah, that just goes to show your character and the person who you are, man.
It doesn't matter the leader. You're all working for the people.
Yes.
Yeah, it's like a one God, one aim, one destiny. Is one same people.
For the people.
Yeah, so it doesn't matter what leader, whether you want to be a good leader or a bad leader, you're still working for the people. The people are the first leader. So just about it.
Sizzla Kalonji in the building, a.k.a. Dada. We love you, brother.
Respect.
Thank you so much. I can't stop thanking you, and just continued success. You have some new music.
Yeah, I got a lot.
Yeah, you do.
Yeah.
It's crazy enough. Someone sent me a song. I'm going to tell you who it was, too. Someone sent me a song that you wrote for your mother.
Yes. And all the mothers of the world.
Yes. Someone sent, as a matter of fact, you know who it was? Breadback.
Oh.
Breadback. Because that's who I used to call back in the days.
If
sometimes
it's Richard's Bramwell song, well, that's a long time now.
Yes.
So, and my mother make me there so. And my daddy make me there so. Conquering lion make me there so. Yeah.
Yes, nice. King. Yes,
but
King.
I did one just the other day.
Tell me about that one.
Well, after hearing all the accolades being given to Sizzla and other great artists doing songs for the mother, I'm like, yo, I need to step up this thing, you know.
Yeah.
We're going to make a new song. But it wasn't like the intent of making a new mother song. Something with me, whenever time I'm in the States, I'm a producer, I'm a musician, I'm an artist, I'm an entertainer. I just can't sit and let the day go by just like that. So I'm like, yo, kid, get some rhythm. Yo, Rory, excellent. Find some youth. Find all these kids making the rap music and the Afrobeat and the Jamaican dancehall reggae. Find them and just send rhythms to me.
Right.
And in doing so, just to hear the rhythm, I'm like, yo, this is good. I'm going to do something on this one because we do the frequency, the 432 frequency. A lot of kids don't know about the frequencies, you know, like 7 notes in the music. It becomes 12 when you add the sharps to it, but the 7 notes in music, you know, A, B, C, D, E, F, G. Yep. So you say do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, ti, do. There's no re, there's no mi, there's no S in music. It's just A, B, C, D, E, F, G. You know what I mean? That is why you got the G for geometry, gamatra. Sometimes you see they wear in the Freemasonry, the G is just geometry, it's just mathematics. Yep. So I'm like, all right, 7 notes in music, 7 colors of the rainbow, your 7 chakras, the 7 days of the week, the 7 priests on the altar, the 7 burning candlestick, you know. It's all about it. It's just mathematics.
Yeah.
So I'm like, get the music done. So once I hear the song itself, the rhythm itself, in itself, telling me what to say. Because I listen to the notes and the way the musician plays the notes within the bar. So it's just great music. I got a lot more coming.
Well, you've given us a lot, man, and we'll be pressuring that music for you. Anything you need on the record again, Dada, I'm here to support you.
I just need for you people to be healthy and be loving and
see every time, man.
Unite,
every time.
You know? That's the best thing. Health is the best.
Every time I try to big him up, man, he deflects it and puts it back to the people, man. Love you, brother.
Yes, thank you very much. Well, before we go, I got a new song coming out, So In Love. I went to St. Lucia just the other day to get the St. Lucia Jazz Festival, and like the kids in St. Lucia like, Dada, let us do a video. They found a beautiful lady there. We did a nice video. It's coming out on June the 7th, you know? Yeah, the music video. So just about it. Look out for it.
That's what's up, man.
All right.
Thank you so much.
So big
Sizzla.
respect And to my engineer them same way, we in Chin, we in all on the Chin, Vishal, Sing, big up to the security team, Speedy, Cookie, big up Jamaican Maroon Kingdom family, Rastafari family, big up Africa. Africa, you're doing well, especially Burkina Faso. Yeah. Big respect, that's where we're at, because the people need things to get done and we need to give people more jobs. And that's just about it. Please enjoy.
Rastafari.
You're welcome.